welcome to the latest episode of Scores Settled, and we are back with another set of questions, another set of important information related to your UGC NET economics exam. So let's start. The first question is that the idea of constructing poverty weighted indices of growth is. Now, one thing that we need to remember is that everybody does not have same kind of an income background, right? So there are classes that are present in the society. So to bring them to an equitable position, the poverty weighted indices are designed. So what will happen? They will give more preference to the or more value to the lower income groups as compared to the high income groups. So what will happen? It will make the society more inclusive so that more benefits can be transferred to the individuals belonging to lower income categories. Okay, so that's the basic idea of a poverty weighted indices, so that they can make the society or bring the society on an equal scale. Okay, so first is that to give at least equal weight to all income groups. Yes, so this has a social perspective. We have to bring or to give equal opportunities to everyone. We need to uplift the lower section of the society, and that's why poverty weighted indices are created. Okay, achieve high growth? No, this has a social objective. It does not have an economic objective basically. To facilitate foreign trade on equal basis? No, we are not talking about foreign trade here. To assign more value or weight on an income group from a richest population and no weight on lower income groups? Not at all. This will make the society highly exclusive rather, right? So not at all, a big no to this. So the correct answer here is option 1. Okay, next question. Which of the following is not correct about the Harrod-Domar model of economic growth? First is that the natural rate of growth is made up of growth of labor force and labor productivity. Yes, natural rate of growth talks about how fast your labor is growing. Okay, so it talks about population as such. Second is that if actual growth is greater than the warranted rate of growth, G can continue to diverge from GW only till it hits the natural growth rate. That is true because Gn gives us the uppermost limit, right? Uppermost limit that you at this point you're using your entire workforce, nobody is staying idle, everybody is engaged into work, but that's the maximum you can go. This is the uppermost limit. Actual growth rate cannot go beyond GM, right? That's the uppermost limit. So it can go till here, but then after this it has to turn downwards. Okay, G can be greater than Gn in the long run? Not at all. G can never be. The actual growth rate can never be greater than your population or the labor growth rate. Never ever. So this is the incorrect statement, and hence 3 is your answer. Full employment of labor and capital require this equilibrium? Yes, definitely this statement is true. So 3 is the answer in this case, that this statement that G can be greater than Gn in the long run in the case of Harrod-Domar model is an incorrect statement. Okay. Next question. Which of the following statements best define property rights? Property rights, it's a kind of a legal right that you have on your property, be it a house, be it any kind of a materialistic object, and it is bound by law. Okay, then let's go through the options. Property rights refer only to government ownership of land and capital? No, private, right? So this statement is not true, right? So government but private ownership as well. So property rights are defined by that. Property rights are informal social rules that cannot be enforced by law? Not at all. The meaning, the basic objective of giving property rights is that it can be enforced by law. It has a legal backing. Okay, Property rights are the legally enforced rights to determine how a resource is used, owned and transferred. Yes, that is true. This is the correct statement. Next, property rights prevent individuals from profiting from a private property? No. Individuals can actually profit from their private property. Okay, so this statement is not correct. So here the correct answer is option 3. Next question. Lexicographic preference violates which of the following axioms of utility theory? Basically, we first need to understand the lexicographic preferences. What are these? For example, if you prefer good A over good B, right? Over good B, then this will always be true. You just have to have any amount of A over your B. There is a strict hierarchy that is there. So if you are given an option of A and B, you'll always choose A, right? So whatever bundle, even if it is like 1 and 5, you'll choose 1. If you're given several bundle options, for example 1, 5, this is A, this is B, then you are given 5, 10, okay, you are given, say for example 10, 100. In this case also, you will always choose 10. The bundle with maximum A will be chosen. Or if you are given another bundle of say 15 and 0, then also you will choose this one, the maximum A. You will not care that whether you are getting 0 amount of B. You are not concerned with that. The lexicographic preference means that you will choose the bundle with maximum amount of A, irrespective of what quantity of B you are getting, right? So this will be the bundle which will be chosen if these 4 options are given to you. So you just have to have maximum A. That is your lexicographic preferences. Okay, now which of the axioms basically violates this is the continuity axiom, right? So the lexicographic preferences cannot be represented by continuity axiom simply because of the strict hierarchy that is involved here, right? Simply because of that, right? So that is why these preferences cannot be represented in continuity axioms. All other preferences can be there. You are not concerned with what amount of B you are consuming. No, you're not concerned with that. You are preferring A over B. Transitivity is there. You are preferring that. That can be represented. Convexity, you can give up B amount of good irrespective of how many units you are giving up to consume A. That is also represented. It is just the continuity axiom that is not representing such hierarchical objects. Okay, a very important question: which of the following is the operating target of monetary policy conducted by RBI? This is the weighted average call money market. It is to help control inflation and maintain liquidity in the economy. The RBI basically controls the interest rates of short-term borrowings and lendings through the call money market, right? The main objective is to control the inflation rates and maintain liquidity. So RBI influences the interest rate in the economy through this call money interest rates, right? And simultaneously it achieves the objective of inflation and maintains liquidity. Now let's go through the other definitions as well, which are very important for an economics student, right? So first is your repo rate. Now what is a repo rate? Like, repo rate is the rate at which the RBI lends money to the commercial banks, right? So if commercial banks have to borrow the money from the RBI, right? So what interest rate they have to pay it, right? Pay the central bank basically. That's the repo rate. Okay, similarly, a reverse repo rate is the rate which RBI pays. So for example, if RBI has to take funds from this commercial bank, then what will be the interest rate which RBI will pay? So repo rate is the interest rate that is to be paid by the commercial banks, and reverse repo is the rate that RBI will pay to the commercial banks. Okay, then is your marginal standing facility rate. Now we have a call money market rate, right? We have a call money market basically, where banks, provide funds to one another when they are unable to meet the CRR and SLR requirements. Okay, so it is like the maturity date is like 2 weeks, 14 days. Okay, but when the liquidity dries up within the banks as well, so commercial banks resort to the RBI to borrow some funds when that interbank liquidity dries up, right? So the rate for an overnight borrowing which the commercial banks have to pay to the RBI is your marginal standing facility rate. So here the commercial banks paid to the RBI for the overnight borrowing requirements. Okay, and this is used when the interbank liquidity dries up. Okay, so please remember, these are very, very important terms, right, which are useful in your banking subject, money and banking, money market, and so on. Okay, so make a note of it, right? So this brings us to the end of this video. I hope it was useful. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care. Bye-bye. Thank you.